Coming up on this episode of the Girls Group Chat podcast.
Sorry, right now, Jordan, you're like the drunk gal did away.
Yeah. Cut us a break. What are we supposed to do?
I think your key to success is feeling content. You will not find every part of someone relatable to you. Hello and welcome back to the Girls Group Chat podcast with me, Shannon.
Me, Olivia.
Me, Diona.
And me, Jordan.
Woo.
Hello, everyone.
Here we are.
Yeah, we'll just get the boring stuff out of the way. Not boring.
The business end.
The business. We'll get down to business. We just want to say thank you to all of our Patreon members that are currently subscribed. It's a mental time over there. It's a good time, but it's a mental time. And like we said in the last episode, it just gets mentaler and mentaler, which is not a word, every single week. If you are interested in joining, it is £1 a week, a complete and utter bargain. With that, you will get an extra weekly episode. How could you not want that? You also get access to pre-sale for any tickets, which we did have our WATERFRONT on there. It is now in general sale. I am assuming and hoping and praying it's sold out by now, but if it's not, go on and try and get some tickets. We also have access to our forums, extra content, vlogs, all that fun stuff. So we'd appreciate if you joined us over there.
Patreon.com/the Girls Group Chat podcast.
Fuck,
Thank
£1
you,
is
Diona.
nothing. You couldn't even get a Freddo for £1 anymore.
I got a Freddo last week. 55p.
Is that all it is?
Robbery. All it is.
But you remember it was like
10.
back in the day. It was like 5, wasn't it?
Well, if it was 5, right,
Yeah.
that means it is now multiplied by 11.
I thought it went up to £1.
So if you
Sure, £1 sweets are about 5p now.
What's
Or
a
one p sweets are about 5p now.
Yeah, I know.
Aye, it's a joke.
Poundland, nothing's a pound.
Nothing's a £1.
They can't make it. That's why they all have to be like around a pound.
Is there not a shop in Derry called Around a Pound?
Around a
I love
Pound?
that, and things are like 50 quid.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Roughly a pound,
Around
give or
a pound.
take.
Because everything is around a pound in some way, and depending on your perspective. But 55p for a Freddo, and like if you take that, like though everything else is not inflated at the same rate.
No.
55. So that's if it was 5p back in the day. That's 11 times more. If you think like you know, bought a car or bought a 3-bedroom house for 90 grand in the 90s. It is not now over $1 million for a 3-bedroom house unless you live in
And
North Down.
wages certainly haven't went up that way.
Yes,
you know?
exactly. I can't afford a Freddo anymore.
I
Sad
do.
times.
Yeah, it's just
But this is
Santa's
the
not bringing my
issue.
Freddos.
This is the issue. Because yes, the cheaper things have all got more expensive. But what they have then done is made the bigger versions just very close in price. So packets of crisps. When do you ever buy a small packet of crisps anymore?
Exactly.
Because it's cheaper
Exactly.
to get the big packet.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Exactly.
is me trying to feed my Pepsi Max addiction. Like you go in to get one of these boys and that's about £2.15, and then the litre bottle or the 2 litres on £1.85.
What size is your 2 litres?
2 litres, you know, like about this here.
Yeah.
That's why I drank so much Pepsi Max
You
for the
could-
economy.
But
Yeah.
if you, yeah.
well done, Jordan.
I'm just doing my bit.
But if you, same for chocolate, you go in to buy like what used to be like a normal size bar of chocolate. Now you would sniff a Mars bar in 2 seconds.
Honestly.
It's gone.
Shrinkflation.
I never ever would have the inclination to buy a bag of crisps at their size, like an actual
You
like
always get
single
the big
portion. I
bag.
always get a big one, and Ben
Yeah.
doesn't really snack that much. So I will always go at the weekend. Oh, better get some snacks in, knowing full well he'll not eat any of it. But there's something mentally about getting a big bag of crisps and putting them in a wee bowl that's
Yeah.
in between us. Even though I'm 100% going to eat them all, then
Yeah.
refill from the bag and eat the entire bag. Mentally, that doesn't feel as bad as sitting eating like 3 small bags of crisps. Do you get me?
Why is Ben not snacking? He's not because he likes good food because he's a chef.
He's just never been that much of a snacker.
What happens when you sit down to like Netflix and chill?
Um,
He's actually just writing.
No, I imagine Ben eats
Don't
like
know,
bell
please, we're
peppers
married.
and feta as a snack.
No, do you know what? He eats massive portions, not to shame him, but like he'd be too full for a snack.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you not
Love
feel
that.
like so? And this is stupid couple mentality. But Sean and I have this thing. Say we sit down to like watch something and have like goodies and all. If one of us isn't having goodies, you feel like you've been cheated on.
Oh, yes.
You're always looking at the other person going, well, what use are you to me? If you're
Yeah.
not also going to have a big, massive bag of Doritos and some Malams, you're useless to me right
I would
now.
nearly make digs at Kieran too. Like if I got crisps and I would actually set them in between us and he'd be like, you can just set them over there, I don't want them. So then if I eat them all and then like later in the night he's like, oh, I'm a bit hungry, I'm like, well,
You had to get
Someone didn't share the crisps with me, so I have no sympathy for
That
you. And it would
is-
like be deep.
Fallout
That is.
scenario. Like I'd be like, if we're both investing this evening to watch a movie or sit down and watch something like a show, and I'm the only one with goodies, like I am fuming, like I'm raging.
Sorry, the word goodies is
Goodies.
taking me
I'd
to the
be
fur.
more annoyed if Ben thought he could have some of my goodies.
Would you?
I'd be like, these crisps are to share it. If his hand went near it, I'd be like, no, slap
Yeah.
him away.
But always, also, so you put up a video the other day about you to Chinese on the way. Ben was out, you
Yeah.
Chinese come to the
Oh,
house.
Oh,
I
girls.
have this thing.
fucking bliss.
I could never order a takeaway on my own.
Oh my god! Do you know what? It was so awkward because it wasn't really awkward. The girl was lovely. When I walked into the Chinese, it was fucking rammed because it was the post mass rush.
Do you mean like 1 in the afternoon?
is this a thing?
No, at night.
Saturday night mass.
Saturday
I was like,
mass.
who is going for
Right.
Peking chicken at just after midday on a Sunday?
Don't judge. A lot of people do.
Sunday dinner is just chicken
Not me.
balls and boiled rice and a bit of curry sauce. No, so I walked in and the place was rammed, and she goes, "Oh, Olivia McVeigh," and I was like, "Fuck." So it's like they're all just staring at me as if to say like, "Who the fuck is she?" And then they'd forgot about my order, so I had to stand there longer than I originally thought that I was going to. So I'd psych myself up in my head to be like, "Just go in, say my number, take my thing, walk out." And she was like,
I loved
"Ah,
the whole drive there. Walk in, say 37.
And
and then
she was
get
like,
your bag,
39,
leave.
39, chicken balls. And then she came in, she was like, "Oh, somebody's away with your order." And I was like, "Fuck."
What?
So I had to stand like a dick for like 20 minutes, like,
Away where?
Fuming for you.
somebody took my order instead of theirs.
Ugh.
'Cause it
And
was
did
very
she
similar.
only realise after they left?
Yeah. She was lovely though, really nice woman.
That's not a
but
very good mass thing to do.
I ended up being there for like 20 minutes. You know when you're like, I intended to be here for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I want to die
You
because
practice
everyone
the whole
is,
routine.
and also this like takeaway etiquette. You know when everyone's in a square, like against the perimeters of the
Yeah.
walls,
Yes.
all like secretly looking like.
And you start square dancing with each other.
I-
Yeah,
like,
and there's like 12 newspapers out.
Yeah.
And you're like, who's sitting here reading the newspaper?
And
Yeah,
a wee sad goldfish in a very dirty
Yes.
bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
Suffocating.
I always think like at the sign of a good Chinese, the more fucked up and dodgy it looks, the better the Chinese.
Yeah.
Like,
And
the lower
I
the
need
hygiene
them.
rating.
Yeah.
I need them to have a goldfish, like some sort of goldfish there. I need them to have the
chase on
New
the
Year
TV.
things hanging,
Yeah.
the chase on the TV, the New Year's thing hanging, banners hanging from
Cash
the ceiling.
only.
Cash only, and I'm
Cash
like,
only.
you're a bit of me.
If
See,
they had a
it's too
card machine,
fancy.
if they have a card machine, they may as well say hygiene rating 1. I call me bored. I'm not going in there. See
Do you
if
not
they're
think they would have a better hygiene rating if you've got a card machine? 'Cause
see if they're
declaring
above
everything?
if they're
No,
above
she's
board,
saying they might as well.
they'd be shite.
Oh, okay.
Has to be dodgy or else.
You want it to be
something.
dirty. You want everything to be cooked in this shit from yesterday and extra flavour. Tell me this: do you order the same thing every time, or do you like? I think people are psychopaths who like get the menu out to have a look at it. Like
I get the
look,
exact same
get
thing.
exactly like creatures of
I
habit. But
switch
people
it
are
up.
like, I'm gonna have. What am I gonna have? The same thing you've every time, you psycho.
We get the same thing every single time, but
course.
we'll like have a wee joke with ourselves. Like, actually, we'll have a wee look. Maybe we'll get something different. And then we'll go, actually, do you know what sounds really good? Like that same dish that we've been eating for the last 4 years.
Yeah,
together,
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
just get
It
that.
depends who I'm with, because I do like different things. Like I love prawns, like so I love salted chili king prawn, and then Kieran hates prawn, so I'll switch it up depending who I'm with. If people want to, because I love a sharing Chinese,
Yeah.
a wee bit of everything going
That gives
on.
me anxiety.
What?
I just need to know I'm gonna have the amount that I want. And I'll
I
be
get
annoyed
you.
if things come and then I'll like I didn't get enough of that. Like I swear to
Oh
God.
no, well I always overdo it. No one's ever wanting more. To be fair, there's always plenty
Like-
there.
Peak anxiety is when you have picked up your takeaway from the takeaway and you have to drive home. And that time between the Chinese and your house where you're like digging into the steaming hot bag beside you to get chips out that haven't been salted or vinegared yet, and there's no sauce, and you're like, this just tastes like an actual potato, but I have to eat it on the way. Like I just get so annoyed. And also I have to be, so whenever we would pick up a takeaway and drive home, Sean always has to go to the toilet and I always go and plate it up because I need to be the one to plate it up because I need to know that I've got enough on my plate that I want. So we always go into the house and we say he's the pisher and I'm the disher.
Lovely.
He has to pee before he eats. And I swear that anxiety on that drive home from the takeaway, we were like, why does it feel like a lifetime has passed
Can
for
I
you to
tell
get
you?
your food?
On Sunday night, we got a chippy. No, I'd say we get one chippy a year. We're a Chinese couple. Sorry, we're not a Chinese couple.
You're
Surprise. We enjoy a Chinese takeaway as a couple. That's our go-to takeaway. Maybe we'll do a pizza on occasion. If we're feeling fancy, it might be an Indian. But like,
Why
a
is it
chippy.
that I think of Indians as being fancy?
like, ooh.
dear.
It is dear.
And it's
that
also
why?
like real chicken.
I
That's
think
real
of it as
chicken.
being
Yeah.
posh because I think growing up, like I don't think my mum has
I never
ever
had one.
ordered an Indian, ever. I've had one or two in my lifetime, but in my head, I think of an Indian as being posh. We are so excited that That Prize Guy is a proud sponsor of the Girls Group Chat podcast. If you haven't heard about That Prize Guy competitions, come out from under your rock.
The current competitions are 70k cash, 50k cash, and 40k cash. They give these away almost every single day, and they give away cars such as Land Rover Defenders, Audis Q3, and the most unreal holiday destinations like Mexico.
And you can get in touch for like wedding favours and private event competitions. There's loads of instant win competitions on the website, so you literally enter, and if you the money goes into your account there and then, which is obviously class. And you might even join loads of people who are now millionaires thanks to That Prize Guy.
Absolutely class. So go give yourself a chance to win. Head to thatprizeguy.co.uk and please remember to play responsibly. Keep it fun.
Yeah.
So I love an Indian takeaway, but this one night we're like, right, do you know what? Let's do the annual chippy. So we did it and went up and we ordered what we wanted and we're delighted. Do you know the only reason we went to the chippies because I wanted a battered sausage.
My
Ben went,
go-to.
"Hey, that sounds good. I want a battered sausage, but we'll go the whole hog and get a whole chippy." Sure. Got home. They'd only give us one battered sausage. And I was so devastated. Now, the chippy was a 4-minute drive away, if that. But I got home, kicked my shoes off, got my slippers on, I was ready. We opened everything else up. I'm ready to dip in. And then I had to share my battered sausage with Ben. I was absolutely fuming. Honestly, I'd rather just split up with him and gone our own way.
There's
To
not
be honest.
Let's call it quits.
But when you get home and the
things
takeaway's
being
wrong.
missing. Do you
it's
know
so
that
mad.
I done a delivery from my local jippy. Sorry, guys. And there was no drinks in my house. And whenever I get a takeaway, like part of it is the fizzy drink
Fizzy juice,
experience.
100%.
Right? That was part of it. And the chippy came. And it was like £2.90 as well for the drink. And my drink didn't arrive. Now the chippy's crossed the
Should have got a 2 litre.
literally around the corner. I phoned the chippy back and I went, just let you know, my drink never arrived. And they were like, right, okay. And I was like, I know your delivery man will be back out. Can you just drop it into my house, please? Because I have no fizzy drinks here. And they were like, yeah, no bother. Fucking drink never
You
came.
were owed compensation.
no. Never came.
Honestly, that's a claim.
Never
waiting to
came.
happen.
Fizzy drink never came. And I was
Justice for
gutted.
Shannon.
Kieran gave me a mouthful of piss.
Straight from his mouth. Straight from his mouth. He just spat it.
So like a bird. He was like, you're hardly ringing over a drink. And I was like, I am.
I absolutely
have
would.
been dreaming about this. And you know what? I actually got a full fat Coke. And I never, ever, it was like I was so looking forward to it. I never get a full fat Coke. And I was devastated. It ruined
so
my,
sorry.
I didn't even want the chippy.
We've
Ruined
really
the
all been
experience.
through it, haven't we?
Oh,
Like,
God,
I am
love us.
100% ordering a Chinese on the way home, by the way.
In an
Lord
Indian
love
too,
us.
you get like 3 bites of chicken. Like if you order, if I order a Chinese, those boys go to town and they give you like 12 breasts of chicken or 12 whatever portions of chicken is in your thing because it's usually not white breast. But then you get an Indian, there's hardly any chicken in it. Like Sean and I half the like meat part of the dish and you may as well
you'd be swimming in sauce.
just sauce, 3 bites of chicken each, done.
I'm
Talk
laughing.
me through, right?
We've
I know
been
you.
talking about
I know.
Oh,
I
10
know.
minutes for like 10 minutes. And
Actually, I was about to ask her a real boring question. Shall we just move
What is
on?
it?
Well, I was gonna say, right? I know you don't live with Kieran, but like, you did in Australia.
Yeah, we did.
You're home alone for the night. Your fella's out.
Oh.
Let's say he's out till the next morning.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's your night in looking
you-
like on your own?
Girls, let me tell you about my night. It's actually
I need to hear it.
I'm not even joking. See, last week, because so much happened last week, I was just fucking like emotionally. I felt like I had an emotional hangover all week. And then Ben was like, I'm going out with the boys on Saturday night. No, is that all right? I was like, fucking right, it's all right. See you later.
Yeah.
So he left. I was like, bye. Cleaned the whole house top to bottom.
Beautiful.
Put a wash on.
Good start.
Put the wash that was in out, undried, whatever. Hoovered. Literally. We candle lit after. Actually got new candles delivered. So
better.
even better. And they were fucking class.
You're living.
Our sofa turns into like a pod. So our sofa turns into like a wee bed. So I had the wee bed set up. Got a movie on. Like a rom-com, obviously.
What movie?
First of all, started with What's Your Number?
Stunning.
Because I'm obsessed with Chris Evans at the moment. And then I watched The Other Woman.
Oh.
Obviously another classic. And then ordered my Chinese, got my Chinese, ate it in peace. And
In peace.
Without that Ben boy.
Absolute meltdown.
Ben a complete
What's the beverage
angel.
situation? Are we having a
Coke Zero.
a typical a crispy Coke Zero?
Crispy Coke Zero in
You
a
are.
glass with ice.
And then are you getting yourself an early night or are you up late?
Oh god, I was asleep for fucking 10 o'clock.
Oh no,
Oh,
I'm up to 3 o'clock in the
stum.
morning.
Oh yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're making the most
Me
of
and you
it.
are both. I think I've noticed this. we're night owls because I've noticed this. If there's ever anything going on in the group chat,
We
and
clock
Jordan
off
are
at
up.
some point.
Yous are gone.
After like 9 o'clock, I'm like, goodbye.
like one.
Equally, then if something's posted early in the morning, you and me are waking up at 9, being like, "Oh, hello, been a busy morning, sleeping."
I got up at about 7:30 this morning. I was like, fuck.
Hello, honestly, what's it like to watch the sunrise?
I'm an early riser. I might as well go and do a sea dip.
Yeah.
What are you up to whenever Sean's out for that? I know you've got kids; it's a bit different.
Yes, so kids to bed. I can only sit down and have a proper think about things if my house is clean as well. So I'll straight away, like what I try to do before the kids go to bed, so I'll be economical with my time, is get the cleaning done whilst they're having their supper. So I usually put them down and they have their supper and they come watch something when they're eating their supper, and I'll get the dishwasher on and I'll light my candles and I'll get a wee sweep up and I'll get everything tidy and clean, so that whenever they're in bed, I can come downstairs to a nice clean downstairs. I think I usually have a bath.
Oh,
If I'm on my
gorgeous!
own in the house, I'll have a bath. I might pour myself a wee glass of something, like a wee Prosecco or something in the bath.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a cup of tea in the bath. Never a good idea. I'm sweating.
Oh, it's too warm.
Sweating. What I realise when I'm in the bath after approximately 6.5 minutes is that it's so boring.
Yep.
And then I have to get
The
straight back
idea
out.
of a bath is better than a bath. I say
Yeah.
this all the time. I probably get about 3 baths a year.
And no
because
showers.
I think, just
No
that's
showers.
it. That's it. That is me. No, I'm only joking. But I like the idea of a bath, and
Yeah.
I'll hype it up in my head and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to exfoliate.
And I get out of the
I
bath.
get in, I'm bored stiff, I'm sweating
Yeah.
to the point I'm like, I need a cold shower.
But I'll
Need
get
a
out
shower.
too, and I'll be absolutely like lightheaded from the sweat, that I'll just lie on the bed completely naked, and it's not like a fun naked, it's like a really pathetic, sad naked, like my skin's scalded and all, because I like the bath to be really warm, and I'm just lying there trying to cool down, and I'm like, why did I waste this night? And it happens every time, and then I'm just too exhausted. I'm in bed. I'll usually eat something fun, like some sweets or some chocolate or something. I'll never, ever, 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 ever watch something on my own.
No,
Oh, I love
Same.
watching something on my own.
I wouldn't put anything on to watch. I'll just flick through my phone and go to sleep.
okay.
It's a very uneventful evening.
It took a crash
sounds
on there. I'm not
pretty
gonna lie. Started promising, and then you were naked on the bed and asleep.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm usually annoyed, but by the end of the evening, going, what a waste.
Do you enjoy your own company?
Yeah,
Do you?
only.
Do you?
I only enjoy my home company.
God.
Because I'm just thinking, like, I feel
Yeah.
like you're always with another person.
But do you mean like my children and my husband?
Aye. Like,
yeah.
'cause you know the way I just feel like when you're a mum, you always have somebody with you.
Yeah, you very like rarely get like you're always overstimulated, because there's always somebody constantly asking and demanding something of you and needing something, and constantly, like, even whenever we're driving somewhere, Sean always drives because he likes us to survive, so he drives. And I sit in the passenger seat, and I am at their beck and call the whole
Yes.
time. I'm handing snacks, I'm handing toys, I'm getting on with baby wipes. Rocky likes to pull his straps down of his thing. I'm trying to put them back up. I'm the DJ constantly putting on new songs, and I'm like you can't just in the car is like such a pressure cooker of like demands the whole journey, that like Sean actually as the driver gets to relax because he
Yes,
doesn't
he's
have to do
relaxing more than
anything.
you.
So I do that. But I am always with someone. So I think in the evening, if like Sean's out and the kids are in bed, I just don't want to ingest too much stuff. And
Yeah.
like I don't want to watch anything. I don't want to put music on. I don't want anything. I just want to be quiet for a wee while.
You just want me time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to go to bed and sleep.
Yeah.
To echo you in an earlier episode, I just want to sleep.
Just want to go to bed.
What are you doing?
I'm getting a takeaway. I'm getting a sushi takeaway.
Oh.
My absolute fave. I'm
Jordan, we're going to have to do a sushi day because I don't know
love sushi.
anyone, like none of my friends, boyfriend, family, no one likes sushi, and it's a lonely thing for me.
See, I love a night at home my own. Like Ben would be like, "You sure you don't mind me going out?" And I'm like, "Go
Bye."
packing him a
Yeah.
suitcase, booking him a hotel. Oh God, oh bye, see you later.
And then you order from the dirtiest place that he doesn't approve of.
No, he's just not
in
as
spite.
into sushi as I
Guess
am. Like I do
buys
it
a
more than noon
microwave
and
for the
night.
day.
Yeah, I get the microwave out of storage. No sushi. A J&T's getting made while the sushi's arriving. When the sushi arrives, it's a prosecco. I'm gonna have a bath. I'm gonna
Yeah.
regret it. I'm gonna get out covered
Same.
in hair because I'm gonna shave my legs in the bath. Then when it drains, it'll be like I'm wearing a fur coat and I'll have to rinse that off. Then it's to the sofa. We're reclining. We've got sushi. We've got mango rolls. It's all go, go, go. It's fucking mental, guys. Just mad.
What
Then
a
I'm putting
day.
on like Sex in the City or Real Housewives or something that Ben wouldn't want to watch with me, but definitely something I've watched before, because like we're not, like I'm just not starting
yes.
something new.
Yes, we're not.
Because I'm not focusing.
No.
I'm going to be colouring in. I'm also going to be scrolling through TikTok. At one point I'm going to get bored with the colouring. I'm going to start playing Candy Crush. And then I'm going to have another glass of Prosecco.
So are you 14? Candy Crush and Clonin?
I'm having a ball.
Me.
Yeah,
the time.
having a ball. And
Next, the Tamagotchi comes out.
then a whole bag of Doritos and
Do you do a
a
dip
whole
with
tub
your
of
Doritos?
hummus. Yeah, and a whole ginormous chocolate bar. And it's 3 a.m. and
Ben's fucking back.
I'm raging. I'm going to go back to real
In he
life.
comes.
Yeah,
ruins
I
your
love it.
peace.
I love a night my own.
I do.
See a night in a hotel on your own as well.
Oh, I know. My
That is
friend, I
self-care.
remember my friend saying to me one time that she was staying in a hotel on her own and she was like, oh, it's great. I'm just going to fart all night. And I was like, fair play to you.
Just
'cause
walk
she
about in your pants.
Just farting. Great times.
We are delighted to introduce our sponsor, Iconic Bronze. If you haven't heard of Iconic Bronze, it is a tanning and cosmetics brand founded right here in Ireland by the lovely Linda Stinston.
I've been a brand ambassador for Iconic Bronze for 7 years. I actually started using their products when I was in uni, and myself and Emma Kearney created a collection over 3 years ago now. And these are actually my lashes.
Fancy.
The
I know, they're
products
unreal.
are
Their products
fab.
are class.
I have to say, I have only started using this recently. Their instant body makeup, incredible.
That sort of thing's a lifesaver.
Incredible,
on a night out.
lifesaver.
I'm a big fan of a body makeup. All their products are luxurious without the hefty price tag. They're also vegan and PETA approved and award winning as well. So you can't really go wrong with Iconic Bronze.
And we have all of our listeners a 30% off code. If you use the code GIRLSGroupChat on the site, 30% off all of the goods at iconicbronze.ie.
I used to be so scared going anywhere on my own. I used to be really like, I couldn't go anywhere on my own. I couldn't fill my car up with diesel on my own. I couldn't go to the shop on my own, nothing.
Really?
And now I have to do basically everything on my
But
own.
why did you just feel like I'll not do it right?
I feel like as a child, like growing up, like I was never alone. I was never allowed, because we lived in the country, like I was never allowed to go anywhere alone, and I couldn't get anywhere on my own. So whenever I was like able to drive, I just didn't know how to do things on my own. I'd never been to the doctors on my own. I'd never been to the shop on my own. So whenever I had to go and do things, I didn't know how to do them.
So
Do you know
mad
now?
now.
Sorry, I always make an effort now with my kids. So not Rocky yet because he's only 2. But with Winter, I get her to order her own food in a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I get her, like, we were in Barry's/Curry's yesterday, depending on what era you were born in. And before we would go on to any amusements, I would hand her tickets and she would give her tickets to the person there. Just want her to gain that wee bit of
Independence.
confidence to do those things for herself.
Yeah.
Because like my stepsons wouldn't be able to like ring up and make an appointment for themselves or anything because we just didn't encourage that back then, and now we know better.
Was there a specific turning point for you though? Because I would think of you as a very independent person now.
I am. Like I do everything on my own. Like I
Yeah.
literally go to I have to travel on my own all the time. And I think it's like doing makeup, it's just you and another person, and you have to speak to them for 45 minutes about something. And I was like 18. So I was getting like grown women coming in to talk to me, and I had to make conversation, and I didn't really know how to make conversation at that age. So I just had to learn how to do it. Do you know?
Yes.
I think if you really like, I wanted to be good at makeup, but then I realized that part of being good at makeup, oh my god, I nearly choked myself there. Part of being good at makeup was also talking to people and being a good people person.
Yeah, you're selling yourself
Yeah.
too, aren't you? Is like, because like I know the girl who does my nails, I absolutely love sitting chatting to her for an hour.
Yeah.
Shout out to her.
And you
she
want to
listens
make
the
people
podcast.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you want people to want to come back to you and it be an enjoyable experience.
And I do think even if you got your makeup done and it was the best makeup you've ever had done in your life, if it was awkward, you actually
wouldn't
wouldn't
wanna
go
go
back.
back.
crack or
You
anything,
wouldn't go
yeah.
back.
100%. I've went to nail places in the past that it hasn't been an enjoyable experience, whether they don't have conversation with you or you maybe feel like they're looking down on you. I've had different experiences, and I've kind of went, or it's been like a bit of a toxic environment. I've been to different places for beauty things, and there's been like toxicity chatting between workers and clients, and I went, I don't want to
Not
come back
there.
here because what are these going to say about me when I leave?
Totally.
Yeah.
Do you know
Turn
what
the
you're
back
saying
again.
about like, you know, learning to like have to do things for yourself, because obviously you have to grow as a person and grow as your own business as well. Like only recently have I started to go like, I'm going to like, if I want to work with somebody, I'm gonna reach out to them. I'm gonna like, especially even this podcast. I was like,
I am just gonna.
I want to do this thing. Like having the confidence in your own skills and your own ability and your own, you know, influence to be like, okay, I can do this thing, and reaching
Yeah.
out, and you know what I mean. And just
But even see, when you asked me, my immediate reaction was to say no. Like
So-
when you asked me, because sorry, but in the sense of I didn't think I was good enough to do it.
well, that's what you mean.
Like as soon as you asked me, my brain just went no, Olivia, don't do that.
2
Because I was
minutes
scared.
before the doors
Isn't that
opened at our
wild?
launch event, I turned around to Diona and just burst into tears. She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, what's wrong?" And I was like, "I'm a fish out of water here. I don't think I should be in this group." And she was like, "Fuck up." And I was like, really had to like
she did.
bring myself together because I
Yeah.
was like, "Yous are all class, and I'm the wee worm here. Like I felt so out of my depth.
And
I
then
was
within
like,
an
no one's
hour, you
coming
were
here to
singing
see
on
me.
stage.
And then I was
No,
like,
no,
this
no,
is
at our
launch
launch
event. No, at the
event.
launch.
Oh, at the launch, I thought you
yeah.
meant. Oh no.
Yeah, but just to echo what you're saying, I had the exact same thought process of like, why me? Why would you want to work with me? And it's so funny because obviously it works,
Yeah.
and you know we're all successful in our respective fields, but it's mad how
You've told yourself that you can't do that, or you're. I honestly think it's to do with like your own mindset, and even like things like how you were raised, or things that were said to you when you were in school. Like it does bleed into your own thoughts about yourself, and if you think you're good enough for something or not. Like I work in a very male-dominated industry with comedy, and you're constantly being told women aren't funny, or you're and you're constantly, even if you just look at the statistics, like in the top, like I think the top 20 highest paid comedians in the world, only one of them is a woman.
who's
And
that?
Taylor Thomason,
Okay.
an American comedian. She's only 30. She only just turned 30. Which is absolutely amazing. But like 19 out of the 20 are men, because that's such a male-dominated field. You know, even talking to your Kieran last week in London, he was like, "Oh, but women tend to talk a lot about women stuff on stage." And I was like, "But what does that mean?"
Yeah.
Because
So do
men
men.
talk about men stuff on
stuff.
stage, and we all
Yeah.
listen to
Yeah. We all
that.
listen
You
to
don't
it.
have to have a dick to
I used the
understand what it
example
feels
of
like.
me going to Kevin Hart. Not going to say it was awful, but like he literally talked about his age and his penis the whole time, and I was like, this is what the support act done too.
But also,
But
there would have
that's
been-
accepted.
But also, there'd been thousands of people in that room who'd have just adored that comedy. Would have
Yeah.
gone, "This is great," but and many of them women, and they wouldn't have been like, "Well, I can't relate."
But
it's
if
like,
you spoke about your age and your vagina, men would be going, "Oh, she's only talking about girl stuff."
exactly, it's that sort of idea. So that really feeds into like you feeling like you're not in the right industry, because you're constantly being met with, you can never reach the same success as your counterpart males, because they look at the statistics.
Yeah.
Do you ever get people, specifically men, trying to push their insecurities on you and making you feel like a checkbox almost? Like, oh, you got that gig because you're a woman. Do you ever get that?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was box ticker. Like even with the blame game, like I'm the only woman that's ever joined the show. I'm the only person that's ever joined the you know, they had the same 4 people for like 15 years, and then they once changed it, and it was me. And even myself, I still, even to this day, all the time in conversations go, "Oh well, I'm probably
I've heard
there
you
because
say
I'm
that.
ticking the box."
But you're still there.
But it's that imposter
you know?
syndrome where you're just like, well, obviously I'm there because, you know, they had to put a girl in eventually, and like, you know, they couldn't replace Jake with another man, so it had to be a woman to tick that box.
I think there's a whole things that come from within and things that are said around you as well, and it's like a subconscious mix of things. Because even me doing social media, like I would look at yous and I'll say, but yous have like actual, I think this comes from an outside thing of people being like, but social media is not a real job. And I'm like, well, in paying taxes it is, but then deep down I kind of go, well, like you're doing radio and you do social media, you do comedy and you do social media, you're doing makeup and wigs and social media. I am literally just talking shite every day, and sometimes I just go, what am I doing? Like what? Why am I getting these opportunities whenever I don't necessarily have a talent per se? In comparison to, you know, you can say you have your other things.
But
going
you
on.
do have a talent because you can speak and you
Talk
can
shite.
get things across so
No, but
well.
you're like, basically like when it comes, you build a brand that's based on your personality, and then you intermittently you're a salesperson as well.
And you're so
selling
engaging.
brands.
But
to
there
watch.
is that side of it that I kind of go like, I look at other people and go, no, fair enough, like they've done this and they've done that, and then I'm like, oh, you know, what have I done to deserve this? It's imposter syndrome, this platform or these opportunities, whenever technically there's people like with actual talents.
Yeah.
Do you know?
But we live in a world now where it's so easy to see what everyone else is doing and how successful everybody is. Like, I never be on LinkedIn because it makes me fucking vomit.
I don't even
That
have
everyone's
one.
like, hey, look at me, I got a promotion. You're like, shut up. Do you know, like, and I get it, fair play to you, but it's like so intense. And in social media, it's the only job that you can see what everyone else is at in their jobs. Like, if my friend is an accountant, I can't see what she does every single day for her
Yeah,
job because
like,
she
yeah.
just goes to an office and I'm like, goodbye. You
Do you
know.
know, that's why I never encourage any of my family or friends ever to come to any of my gigs, any of my shows, nothing. Because I don't want to be like, my job is fun. Like, come watch me do my job. I don't come watch you do your job. So I'm
Yeah.
never going to expect you to come watch me do my job. I don't ever. If you come, great. That's fun for you. It doesn't affect my day. Or if any of my family members never once ever came to see me do stand up my whole life, or came to a play of mine, or came to anything, doesn't make a difference to me whatsoever. I wouldn't see that as unsupportive. I would be like, yeah, why would you come watch me do my job?
Yeah.
You can if you want, but it's never expected.
Yeah.
You know?
I seen a quote the other week from, I'm going to pronounce her name wrong, Alona Marr.
Love her.
Love her. I'm obsessed with her. I think she's amazing. And she did an interview, and the woman was like, which I always have a problem with some interviewers that always ask women questions that they wouldn't ask men. We've talked about this before. I hate it. Anyway, she was like, do you ever get imposter syndrome? And she was like, why would I feel like an imposter for something that I've worked for? Like, I feel like I deserve this. I've worked so hard for it. And I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like, that is so true.
It was amazing. Yeah,
And it's so refreshing. It's so lovely.
She's like, why do you assume I have imposter syndrome?
Yeah.
Like, and this woman's like an Olympic gold medalist, and she's been on Dancing with the Stars, and she's modeled for Sports Illustrated, and she's got like, you know, a CV as long as your arm. She's class. And she's like, don't assume because I'm female that I don't think I deserve what I've got,
because
because
I'm
I
really successful.
absolutely do, which I love, and I would love to embody that energy a bit more. Like, I totally believe in it for her and for everyone else, but it's hard when it's yourself, isn't it?
Whenever I was being interviewed at Christmas time for the BBC 100 women, for anyone that doesn't know, there was so many amazing women on it. Like Giselle Palico was on it, Ray, like Cindy Williams, so many. And one of the interviewers was like, you know, like, do you feel like not worthy to be on it because there's so many other amazing women on it? And I was like, no.
But that's nearly like comparing people's success.
Well, just because I'm a makeup artist, get fucked. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've worked so hard for what I have, and I've worked so hard to channel my insecurities into something else.
You wouldn't compare, like, you wouldn't compare a model, say a very successful model, and a very successful figure skater, and be like, which you feels more worthy?
I know.
It's different things. You're
And
both
there's
as worthy as each
also
other.
different levels of success based on what you think success is. Do you know, and what success means to you.
Yeah.
So I could look at somebody who has like an amazing and I really value success in people. Like, I know people that have a really brilliant work-life balance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's amazing to
That's
me. I feel like
success.
that's such success. And maybe they just have like loads of my friends have like a normal 9 to 5, and they have a brilliant work-life balance. And I'm like, fuck, that's amazing.
But you know, as well, say if someone looking in at the four of us, and they would be like, oh, that one's the one who's the most successful, and you go, oh, but then that one actually does that thing, oh, but then that one has the other thing, and it's like, how do you measure that? Like, everyone's even like amongst comedians, you'd be like, oh, you have the most followers, but then you sell the most tickets, but then you've been on TV more times, but then you've been on, and basically it's all perspective.
Yeah, is it money, is it followers, is it opportunities,
is
how many
it?
holidays you get?
I
like,
always
it's
said,
so
I think your key to success is feeling content. I feel like if you can sit at home and feel content with your life, no matter what it is you're doing, that's success.
And you know, I do sometimes echo like what you said about that girl, I don't know her name. I do feel like I work extremely hard, and so when if I accomplish something or something great happens, I don't be like surprised at it or feel like, oh, that shouldn't have come my way. The only thing I do feel a little bit imposter syndrome about is the blame game, because I'm sat on a panel of people who've been comedians for 30 plus years, who have been on TV for 25 years, who've been doing this show for 20 years, and I come in with no political background or knowledge whatsoever on a political satirical show, so it's a wee bit mad. So I do feel a wee bit fish out of water on that show, but I try my hardest. But in everything else, I do feel like I deserve the things that I get because I work really hard for them. You know what I mean?
You work so hard.
But so I don't think I've ever met anyone like you. They're like, I think you work your arse off. For you to sort of stand at the launch and be like, I shouldn't be here. I was looking at you going, are you a mad bastard? Because like how hard you work at everything you do is insane. Like, you're such an inspiration for women to work really hard,
and not even in work, in relationships and in people. I feel like you work so hard in your relationships with people, and you really work hard at like listening to people and giving them really sound advice, and I think that's like such a great thing in a person and something to be so proud of.
That's so lovely.
but isn't that strange to think that you might think of yourself, like each of us do, or anyone who's listening might do, you sort of go, oh shit, I shouldn't have that thing, and yet somebody else is looking at you going, you're fucking amazing. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I think it's a wee bit of, I know where that comes from in me, but I think in general in Northern Ireland we're all quite apologetic for our successes, aren't we? And we've all been like taught. I can't imagine anyone from NI getting too big an ego without being brought down a peg or two. And I'm not saying if you're proud of yourself that means you have an ego, because the two aren't necessarily linked, but I think we're led to believe that if you were to say, here, I got this promotion, I really deserve it because I've worked really fucking hard. People would be like, oh, she loves herself. And I think that's quite a Northern Irish mentality.
There's an interview with Jamie Dornan. I think he's on like Graham Norton or something, and they're all like, oh, what are your friends back home think about you, like schmoozing with the A-listers and at the BAFTAs or the Oscars or whatever. And he was all, my friends are from County Down, Northern Ireland. They would rip the shit out of me if I got on famous. I can't mention my Calvin Klein campaign around them. Do you think I talk about the TV show? Do you think I talk about being Mr. Grey? They'd have me in a headlock. Yeah. He was like, I'm not allowed to be famous around my friends. Therefore, my life is not glitzy or glamorous or a famous lifestyle, because I'm from where I'm from, and we keep each other like, because they keep each other grounded, slag each other off.
I know.
You're not allowed to be, you know? That's why I always think it's funny if you hear people from here talking about like a celebrity from here, and I'm all, no, there's no celebrities from here.
I know.
You're not allowed to be a celebrity from here. You can maybe like have a profile or be well known, but there's no celebrities from here except for Gillian Simmons.
Oh, yeah. An absolute star.
An icon.
Pamela Valentine. Uncommon man.
Yeah.
No, 100%. People keep you humble, but I hate that phrase when people are like, oh, she loves herself, you know, when it's used about anybody, because I'm like, well, what does that mean? Does it mean she's proud of her achievements? Or
I know,
does
because
it
in
mean
one breath, the society's like, love yourself, you know, appreciate yourself.
Not too
Not
much.
that much.
Not too
Yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah.
Not that much.
Pipe
You're stuck
down.
up, bitch, now.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the balance? I just think,
But you can't win. That's the thing
can't
they say
win.
about, especially with women. It's like, love yourself, but not too much. Be skinny, but also be a little bit curvy. Keep muscles in your bones. Like, be a woman's woman, but also like empower men, and you know, work, but also have a family. And you're cut us a break. What are we supposed to do?
It's the same with like social media. I don't know if you find this with both your huge rises in the last couple of years, but people love
You guys can take this one.
because your content is relatable, and people are like, oh, I love to see a girl from here doing well, but then God forbid you do a bit too well.
that's
and you
really
get, like,
common
you know,
now, isn't it?
yeah, like you start to, you know, maybe live in a bigger house or drive a fancier car. You get like a big brand deal, and people are like, I'm not supporting that. Why do I support that? And it's
I've
like,
seen
oh,
lots
God
of people
forbid.
talking about Indy Clinton, like one of my favourite TikTokers. I don't know, she's a mummy, she's younger than me, and she's 3 kids, and she's hilarious, and everyone loved Indy. Do you know who I'm talking about now? Australia. Everyone loved Indy, and she was chaotic, and she's fucking mental. She's brilliant. Indy's now doing amazing, bringing out her own hair care brand, everything, and everyone has switched. Completely switched. And she came on one day and was like, you loved me when I was struggling and in pits, like absolute pits. You loved watching me struggle, and now everyone's turned against me because I'm doing well, and that's so common
Because you're not relatable now. But
then it's like
it's like celebrate her success.
Celebrate her success then, and be there for the journey. Do you know, like I even look at me, and like I've had people say to me like, oh, I preferred whenever like you were still working your job as well as doing social media and stuff like that, and I'm like, I am the exact same person.
People are going to be fuming when you move out of that attic.
I'm living in my mummy's attic, like, yes, but I'm also, this is the thing that I'm like, when, you know, people try to say you're not relatable anymore. I am 30 this year.
Yes.
All of my friends have houses, you know. I have friends that are doing so well and so successful. So like, not everyone is at the same level anyway, you know. As far as, I have friends that are balling with money and stuff, that doesn't mean them as a person isn't relatable to me. We all go through the same struggles, no matter how financially stable we are. Do you know what I mean?
You also don't owe anyone relatability, though. It's like, I'm sorry if you don't relate to me. That's on you.
Do
like,
you know Catherine Ryan, my beloved comedian Catherine Ryan? She was on, I think it was her own show, like her parental guidance show or something, like a reality show she does with her family, and she was like testing out material. And I just remember her saying like, and like before she went on stage, she was like, testing out material, but like I've nothing to say to these 25-year-olds in the audience. Like, I'm not relatable to them. Like, I'm famous, I'm on TV, like what can I say? I have loads, I'm a millionaire, what can I say? She's on stage and she's all, what about whenever you gotta go visit your horse in the stables because it's a bit sick or something? And I was like, that is like, what am I supposed to talk about to these guys? Because you have to then just like move with the, like, if your stuff is now different, that's fine. When Nadine Coyle got famous in Derry, Jesus, whenever she was on Pop Stars, we loved her because she fucked it for herself.
That's actually, I would say, the most iconic TV moment of all time.
Shout out to Nadine Coyle, her birthday was the other day, 15th of the 6th.
That's right.
I talked about it on the radio.
Well, but whenever, it was on Father's Day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But whenever she was like coming through that, then got kicked out, no one had the concealer for lipstick and all, we loved it. But then as soon as she was in Girls Aloud, Derry started to shit on Nadine Coyle because it was like all these made up stories coming out of the woodworks of her, of people just like jealous of her success.
She was cheeky to me in the shop one day.
And then she started going with Jessie Metcalf off of Desperate Housewives, and we were like, oh, who does she think she is? And you're like, she was allowed a certain level of success, but then when she got a Hollywood boyfriend, we were like, not on our watch.
No,
and it's
totally.
so not fair, like.
And then it comes full circle, and then they become. I find this with all celebrities who like had the massive rise and then the massive fall, and now they're kind of like
Come back.
memeable sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like people who have given us good quotes over the years, they're now like sort of gay icons and sitting doing fun chat shows and stuff, and we soften a bit, but everyone has to go through that wild ride, and it's just really, really shit. Like, just let people be.
But I also think we were at an event recently and Julie Fitz said about being relatable, and she was like, I don't want to be relatable, I'm just me.
Yeah.
Like, you don't relate to everyone you meet, so why does somebody on social media have to be relatable?
I know.
And like, they don't have to come around being like, hey, I've got £1 million. Like, but like, that's grand if you do. Like, you know, somebody else who has £1 million would be like, relatable.
That's what I
That's
said.
relatable
That's what I was
content.
trying to explain earlier, I
You
suppose,
know.
about like, you know, you will not find every part of someone relatable to you.
No.
You will never will. You will find pieces of someone relatable, and it shouldn't matter at what level of life you're at or how well you're doing. You can still find pieces of someone relatable or not relatable or
But
completely
if
unrelatable.
you
You know.
strive too much as well to stay relatable, you're going to keep yourself small. It's
I
like,
know.
oh, I don't want to go for that
100%.
opportunity or become too successful because then people won't relate to me. It's like, well,
God
what's the
forbid.
point in them relating to you if you're just going to like not live your life?
But
here,
people
I
like
have
to
a last
struggle.
thing.
People just like watching a struggle.
The last thing I want to watch is anything relatable. If I want to see somebody's
agree.
dirty fucking house, I'll look around my own. Right? I want to stick on some sort of Desperate Housewife shit or
Yes.
like the Kardashians,
Like
something like that.
escapism.
I want to watch a life that doesn't exist for 99.999% of the population and just dream what if.
You
Do you know what I
haven't
mean?
you haven't seen Becca Bloom on TikTok. This is my new
Can I just
obsession.
say, the last 15 names that have been mentioned on this
You haven't
podcast,
knew
I
any?
haven't known a single one of them.
So I want just to go and watch.
Can we
it.
get some sort
But
of
this is-
dictionary in the description?
This is also proof of like how people will switch up. So Becca Bloom is a, I think, billionaire family. American Asian girl, and she comes from billionaire. She has blew up in the space of months. I mean, millions of followers in the space of months, and she is pure luxury and shows it all. I mean, mental. Like, gets flew over to like different countries, buy designer brands to view their new jewelry to see if she might want to buy it.
Relatable.
And everyone loves her. Loves her. No one's calling her unrelatable because they or that's all they're used to seeing.
But if you go to the extreme, I think then people love it because you're almost like a character. Do you know what I mean, like inventing Anna or something like that? You're like, cool, this is great fun to watch.
So it's like you have to break. Do you just have to break through the barrier to become? You have to either be relatable or completely.
You have to either live in a wheelie bin or own a private jet. Those are the only ways to success online.
But then I love watching somebody do like their B&M haul or like putting on their washing. I'm like, I want to see exactly what washing tablets you put in there. How
love
long
it.
did you put it on? And then them taking it out and all and being like, this is my washing for the day.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
In another life, that's what I would be doing, is showing somebody how to stack my dishwasher.
Oh,
I'd be like, here, listen,
Yep.
come with me whilst I light my candle.
I watched a girl build bunk beds the other day, right?
Stunning.
I wouldn't even build a fucking pair of bunk beds, but I was like, go on, you girl, you get your drill out.
This is the thing. That's what we should be doing. Is
I
when we're
love that.
watching content, is celebrate, like being like, this is class. Like somebody's,
Yeah.
if somebody starts to do well, be all, I was there from the start. I
Yeah.
watched you build that bunk bed. No, you are the bunk
Are
bed.
bunk
And again, though, as we've said several times, if you start to tire of
Sorry,
watching her
right now,
building,
Jordan, you're like the drunk Aunt Dana when she's like, oh, well, she's gonna say,
You know
no,
what
I
I
want to say about bunk beds.
listen, everyone take your top off.
No, if you enjoy watching this woman build bunk beds, right? She makes her whole platform building bunk beds, and one day you go, I don't fucking like watching her build bunk beds anymore. Don't watch her build bunk beds anymore.
I
You know, if you no
move on.
longer relate to bunk beds, just have at it.
I
Away
think
you
the
go.
delirious
I swear.
side's kicking in.
No, but no, sorry, right.
Genuinely.
Not the specific example of bunk beds, but
know
if
what
you
you
start to
mean.
not like someone's content because you don't relate to them anymore, you're bored of their content, you think it's
Yeah.
too samey, you think it's too different from what you initially signed up
Find
for.
the next
no one's
person.
holding you hostage
That's
there.
the beauty
100%.
of social media. Like, I love everyone. I love watching some fucking blade put her children to bed, build a bunk bed, and fucking put on her
Yeah.
carrot soup.
Yeah.
I love watching somebody go to Paris for the day. I love watching
Someone
somebody
cleaning out a horse's
I love
food.
seeing 5 ads of Shannon putting on tatty lashes every day. It's
Yeah.
brilliant. It's such a fun time.
If anyone recognises Olivia, Olivia's
cord.
cord
Going
today.
bad to fuck. No, I'm joking.
We rewind each other up for anyone who doesn't know about we obviously see each other's ads promoted like crazy, so
No, you
anytime
don't
we
see
come
me.
in
But we don't. I never get told if they're going to use it on an ad.
no, they
just
don't
comes
tell
up.
you. So at the minute Facebook is Jordan flat to the mat with the Bellamianta fake tan. TikTok
right.
is Olivia flat to the mat in
In
this
this
gorgeous
cord.
gingham cord. But
And
then
I'm in real life on stage,
stage.
giving you actual jokes.
But don't come and see her because she doesn't expect anyone to show up
No,
to her
so-
job.
Don't be watching her
And my
work.
tour's finished.
To just get serious for a wee second, just like with imposter syndrome, where it came from for me, it's so weird. I didn't have imposter syndrome until a few years ago. So whenever I got my job in radio, like as you've all heard from all my tales, I've had quite a varied life and tried my hand at this, that and the other thing. Growing up, I was always hosting events and doing plays, and it felt like a sort of natural progression for me almost. Like, granted, my first show was the breakfast show, which is massive, but I wasn't like, I don't deserve this. I thought, hey, finally I'm doing something that like really piques my interest, and I was delighted for myself. And I thought I was doing really, really well. And I started doing like wee drips and drabs of Instagram and stuff. And everyone was always really, really nice to me. And just to get topical with the news recently, it was only when I found my tattle thread that I started to think, everyone hates me. I don't deserve any of this.
questioning everything.
And I have felt that way since for 3 years. I'm not even going to cry because I can't be bothered. But reading, and in reality, it's probably like 5 or 6 bored people talking among themselves. You stop reading the usernames because they're all fake anyway. But reading this conversation about myself progressing over months and months, people being like, she thinks she's so funny, she's so annoying, I hate her clothes, I hate her voice, I hate everything about her. And reading all that in one fell swoop, in one sitting in my house on my own one morning,
Felt like the world probably against
drained
you.
me.
You read it as fact
And from
as well.
then, I couldn't crack the same jokes on the radio. I couldn't make the same lighthearted content on social media. It absolutely tore me down. And I know you said on your video about tattle, it's one thing if you have an opinion about someone, like that's, you're entitled to that. And it's the stalking and the doxing and stuff that's a real problem, which absolutely that is a larger problem. But I think the fact there was, and probably at the time of this airing still is, a platform where you can just go and slate someone all you want, unfounded, will have caused way more people their mental health than people are aware.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely vile, and that completely changed the way I am as a person.
And like, you think we would learn now when you remember stories like Caroline Flack and people who have literally ended their lives because they have been tormented
Abused.
online and abused online because of one thing they said, or even if it wasn't something they said, if it was just doing their job and you just get targeted. And like, that would be so shit, especially because your job is then having to go and it's on air.
Yeah.
So like, you're thinking
Like,
in every
someone said
sentence
to me,
they'll be talking about it.
Someone said to me, sure, it doesn't matter, people don't like you, sure, pay no mind. I'm like, it actually does. That's complete what my job pivots
Yeah.
on, is people liking me and my stories and my voice.
Yeah, 'cause
when
if
I
they don't
started
listen, I'm not
thinking,
there.
yeah, and I started doing really, really boring radio content, really safe, because I was like, I'm not putting myself out there for criticism anymore.
Yeah.
And I understand if people want to have an opinion. Everyone's very entitled.
I think the
Text your friend.
Yeah,
Does it need to be in
That's it.
one place on the
And
internet?
the difference
I don't
is
think
they
so.
will use the excuse that you put yourself on. We've said this before. You put yourself online, you have to put up with it, and it's like, well, no, that's like saying, so, your bullying's okay. You have to put up with it. You don't. You stop it at the cause. You shouldn't be doing that. You wouldn't walk up to someone in the street and start hurling abuse at them. But you're allowed to have thoughts about someone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can think things. You can text your friends. Write it in a journal. I hate Shannon Mitchell. She's not. Do you know, things don't need to be gossiped about.
Just can't imagine having the want to
No.
take time out of the day to go and write
Why
something
would you?
disgusting about somebody.
But you know, I did a podcast a couple weeks ago, and you collaborate on the clip. Someone uploads the clip, and then you collaborate with the podcast or whatever. And I accepted the first clip and the second clip, I think, of the podcast that week. And then I just started getting so much abuse in the comments that I'm being notified of all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm used to getting loads of abuse online, and I swear, water off duck's back, it genuinely doesn't affect me. It did when I was much younger, but I read abuse about myself every single day by accident, because it's always under the comments and stuff. Just whatever, she's not funny, she's fucking trying too hard or whatever. I don't care. But this was there was so much, it was a clip about Australia. And I had asked a couple questions on it that obviously sounded. I thought there was bears in Australia. I'd said that. I also, the comedian had said something, and then he was like, "Do you not know that about Australia?" And I went, "I don't care about your country." And then I'm only joking. But the only joking was barely audible because it was then on the next person. You was a very like you can hear it, but you can barely hear it. Yep. So it sounds like I just went, "I don't give a shit about your country." Like so many comments from people in Australia just go like, "She's not allowed in Australia." Like fucking just loads of shit. So then whenever the next clip came up that was like, "Can you collaborate?" I had to message Shane separately. It was Shane's podcast and was like, "I'm not collaborating on my clip today. I'm very sorry." And he goes, "No, there's never any pressure to collaborate in the clip." And I went, "No, I know, but geez, I got a lot of abuse out of this podcast this week. And I'm used to getting abuse all the time, but I was like, I can't be arsed. Can I have one day where I don't have 100 people slagging me off, please?"
And it's the constant reading it, seeing it coming through. Every time you lift your phone, you see it.
I don't have to search for it. It's in my comments.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Going away."
That's why I dread the going on to our TikToks, because I don't really post on TikTok myself because I can't be arsed with someone being rude to me. If I read something nasty about myself, it still impacts me so bad.
What's quite nice about TikTok now, nice, it shouldn't have to do this, but they filter it. So I very rarely go into my reviewed ones unless it's something that I'm like, surely there couldn't be anything bad on this. And sometimes but like I would always say to people, like, just don't look in the reviewed section. I just don't look in it. It doesn't exist if you don't look. Thank you.
On our TikTok.
Do you?
Yeah. So we don't have to see them.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much.
Oh,
well,
you're taking that burden on yourself.
Yeah, because I don't care.
It's
never about me. Fuck yourself. I'm joking.
Well, being on this podcast has really, really given me so much confidence, and I think for the first time in years, pushed me to my potential and made me work on something I'm really, really passionate about and feel like
you're good at it.
Oh, Jordan.
Yeah,
so thanks, guys. Love you.
Well, you are an asset to the team and an absolute.
She sounds like she's doing a speech in school.
I'm the supervisor. I'm the like team leader. I'm like,
pass my review.
Yeah.
You're on
You
probation.
made it to the next stage. You made it past probation. We might even invite you to the waterfront.
Don't make me cry.
Don't make me sing. Right, shall we leave it there, guys?
Yeah,
for
another roller coaster one.
From Chinese takeaways to imposter syndrome and everything in between.
I know, every time we get to the end of an episode, when we go, "Oh, well, what clips are we going to put in social media?" I have no clue what we just talked about.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Whatever you've just listened to is a surprise to us as much as it was to you. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you all.
See you
See you later. Bye.